plays before your game?
Yeah, I mean, today, some new stuff, offensively and defensively, just with the personnel that we got. So I think the guys are working to get there. Today wasn't as sharp as you would like, but part of that is new guys in roles, right? And they're playing fast. I will say this, the effort's there. They're trying to give the effort that we want. Just we got to clean up the details and some of the concepts we're running.
What's your philosophy on how much new stuff that you might be able to incorporate on a game week?
Yeah, it's a tough balance because, we have to be able to force explosives. The only way you force explosives is to do things that are creative. So, I mean, ideally you don't want to add a lot of new stuff because you want to think that your base stuff and some normal things can create explosive plays, but we haven't been explosive, so we're going to have to do some things to try to create those explosive offensively. And defensively, they play so fast that when you have new guys on the field, right, in different spots, that's like drinking out of a fire hose at times. So we just got to clean that up.
You talk about +1 situations, running the football. Is it tough to go against what you should be doing on plays when you are concerned about personnel execution?
Yeah, I mean, it's you just got to adapt. You got to say, this is something we've done in the past. I've been blessed. I've been a part of some of the best rushing offenses in the country in my tenure as a coordinator. And you got to be able to adapt to the personnel you have. And everybody runs the ball a little differently. So I got to adapt a little bit what I've done in the past to the people we've got, and try to get some bad eyes and create some miscommunication on defense.
What's your take on where the offensive line is? Obviously, a ton of injuries there. You're basically down to like a second team, and how are they kind of adapting and to what you want, what you need to see?
They're battling, man. I mean, Sean's going in there. I mean, Sean's going to start for us this week, and he's battling his guts out, and I'm super proud of how he's competing. So I'm just proud of how those guys competing. Ben Bray is our sixth guy, and he's going to be able to go in there and compete. We're hoping to get Cade potentially back for game day, but other than that, we've got our 6 to 7 guys with Ben being involved in that and Kyle Scott being number 7 that those guys are competing, and that's all you can ask. I mean, you can't. What are we going to do, right? You're going to go out there, you're going to play a football game, and you're going to do everything you can to win a football game, and those guys have been doing today in one-on-ones did a nice job, right? They got excited, y'all heard it. In practice, they've been really sound with their scheme. Max had a really nice job at right tackle today on a few schemes, so I've been happy with him.
Obviously, I think it was the Fresno game, they kind of wore down, but is there anything you can do to minimize the wear down factor when you're so low on personnel on that side of the ball?
No, I mean, normally you can, but you can't. I mean, you can slow the game down to a point and try to play a slower game if you want. But when you do that, you take yourself potentially out of your own comfort zone offensively. And, we have to try to find a rhythm offensively. And when you do that, you're taking yourself out of your own rhythm. So there's a really, really difficult to manage that when you're down those guys. But it is what it is. A lot of people have guys around the country hurt. We have probably a lot more than others, but it is what it is.
Caleb McCullough had a good game, graded out well. He'll have an important role this week, and you mentioned Colorado likes to try to do to get matchups on linebackers and safety. So what do you think about him in that group?
Yeah, I mean, this game fits to him because he's an athlete. He's a really, really athletic. He's a 21 guy on the GPS, so he's a super fast linebacker. So this game kind of suits his style of play.
What do you think are some of the keys just against this Colorado attack out front?
Yeah, you got to limit the explosives on defense. They're an explosive offense. I think they average is it 6 or 7 plays? No, 8. Sorry, bad math. 7 or 8 plays inside the 25 a game. So when you only have 7 or 8 plays inside 25 a game, but they're a good offense, what is that telling you? They're scoring from far, right? And they do that because 2 of their top wideouts have only missed 30 snaps in an entire season. So they're playing. They're in shape, and they're playing almost every single snap with their top dudes, and those guys are explosive, and they're making explosive plays. So we got to be able to limit the explosive play on offense, or versus their offense on defense. And offensively, we've got to sustain drives. We've got to be better on third downs. Yes, would I like to be more explosive? Yes. Will we try to be more explosive? Yes. But sometimes you're not that team. So what do you got to do? You got to be uber efficient. So yes, we try to be more explosive. Yes. What we really got to be is way more efficient offensively on third downs. When we get to third and short and medium, we got to a lot of those scenarios last week, third and short to medium, and we didn't convert. And those need to be over 50% conversion rates. When you average out 3rd and 7 or less, if you're not over 50% in those down distances, you're not going to be a very good offense.
You mentioned on Monday how you're looking for more explosives from the offense, but also the defense and the turnovers. What do you think is the key to forcing those turnovers against Colorado?
Yeah, I think it's one, I keep saying it, but being familiar with the system allows you to be more comfortable with your eyes. Obviously, being banged up doesn't necessarily help that familiarity because you have different guys playing, but it really starts with the D-line. Chaos up front. Everything starts with chaos. So if you create chaos up front, if you get pressure on the quarterback, you sack the quarterback, try to get strip fumbles, put the quarterback in duress, make him throw bad throws, right? That's what really starts the beginning of turnovers. And then obviously this quarterback doesn't turn the ball over very much. He does a really good job. He's willing to take sacks, similar to Joe Burrow 2 years ago. He led the NFL in sacks taken the year they went to the Super Bowl. And I attest, what Shador's doing to that. I mean, when the O-line breaks down, he says one more play in his mind. He takes a sack or extends the play. He doesn't put the ball in jeopardy. And then he goes and, because a really good quarterback, so tries to make a play the next down.
You're doing pretty good, though, at generating pressures and sacks, but it's not translating to turnovers. How much of that is random or luck, or what do you attribute it to?
I think some of it's luck, to be honest. I know that sounds weird, but I mean, some of turnovers are luck. Do guys fumble? Do they not? Do you recover? Do they not? And others are, back end, not getting their eyes back to the ball because they're just so concerned about their responsibility in pass coverage. At times we're a lot of match coverage. So when you play a lot of match, you play a lot of man, eyes aren't on the ball as much. And then when we do play zone, we've had our opportunities. We just haven't capitalized. But I just think that'll come. Turnovers will come with how we play defense. It just hasn't come yet.
Coach Prime and his availability mentioned you guys almost worked together. Is that
Yeah, it's a true statement. I have a lot of respect for Coach Prime. I said in my media the other day, I recruited Shador. He's a phenomenal player, and one of the things I learned in that process was when I recruited Shador, I recruited Shador. I didn't recruit at that time Deion Sanders. He let me recruit his son, and I respected that a lot. The fact that you have this guy who's accomplished everything you could accomplish in football, and he didn't make the process in his son's recruitment about him. So I gave a lot of respect to him to kind of get out of the way. And yes, did he play the father figure in the process and ask the father figure questions? He did, but he let his son go through his process, and I gave, I have a lot of respect for that, just with him. And everybody says, oh, Deion Sanders, now Coach Prime, and it's all about him, it's all about him. But I got to see a side of that where he said, no, it's not. This was about his son's process, and that's why I have a lot of respect for him. And he's done a phenomenal job. Coach Prime has as a program. They're building something there, and he's going to do a great job there, and he already is. There's some sort of alert going on.
I think it's 2 minutes early.
tried to sneak it in?
Perfect.